Welcome to Reflections. My guest today is a polarizing figure in the YouTube community. She's a content creator and a troll with a biting sense of humor and confrontational style. When she's not working or enjoying her life, you can probably find her on a live stream panel cutting it up with creators from all walks of life. In the past, we both briefly trolled each other until getting to know one another and forming a friendship. It's a pleasure to have her with me on the show today. GLM, welcome to Reflections.
Thank you, MJ Bodie. Thanks for having me. It's
You bet, man. Yeah, I am. This is going to be fun, I think. I know you're a little nervous, so I want you to put you at ease and you know.
It's always scary your first time.
Yeah, always. Yeah, the first time's always a little. You're a podcast virgin. I'll be gentle. I promise I'll be gentle.
So
it's all good.
Yeah,
we're gonna have fun here. It's professional, but we can still be loose here. So
we'll be respectful, professional, and mature.
Amateur as much as we can be on here for sure. So you've got a reputation. I don't think. I mean, for those of you who know, you're pretty well known.
Yeah.
Around YouTube. I mean, you go in places I don't even.
Yeah,
venture.
definitely. I go all over the place for sure.
You do, yeah. And so lots of people know who you are, and so YouTube. And there's just been a lot of shit going down. There's always a lot of shit going down, but last year and a half or so, I think it's gotten pretty bad. I would say
it's gotten worse.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
What? Okay. So talk about some of that, some of your experiences. We'll just kind of start off with some of the basic stuff. How do you see things, lately and kind of, some of your experiences?
Honestly, just in my experience, I don't feel like it's gotten worse. I think certain communities have gotten worse, and I kind of dip away from some communities when I see, because I've been through probably the worst on YouTube, in my opinion. And so when I see it kind of brewing, I just kind of dip away and go do my thing. So I know that it's pretty bad in some places of YouTube, but you gotta come over this way, MJ.
So where are you hanging out lately? What have you been doing?
I like a whole lot of the people who dislike Sam Hill. Those are great people. You got like David Walsh. You got a little Radio Foreman. I know you don't know who any of those people are.
I know who David Walsh is. I mean, from back when I was orbiting around the Sam Hill and Poon Handler and those guys. I an RDA. So I'm familiar with some of these names.
RDA is cool. They don't stream. He doesn't stream that often though. And obviously, like, kind of, I do go to Tammy's. I don't know if you know what Tammy is. I go to her streams pretty often. Yeah. Anna and J Rom and those folks. But honestly, I don't have a huge amount of time for YouTube like I used to have. Well, I don't know that I used to have a huge amount of time, but
that's a good thing.
My days are pretty packed.
You're busy. We were talking a little bit before. Yeah, you're a busy girl. So
yeah. And I know people think that I'm like, I know I'm up to date on all the happenings. Not so much. And maybe that's why YouTube's better for me, because I got other stuff going on in life.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. I mean, I think, treat it as a hobby, treat it as a recreation, and come on when you can, but otherwise go and spend your life doing other things than YouTube, because it's,
it can't be your life.
No, it's not good. It's not good because I've been there, I definitely have.
Right.
Been one of those people who spends way too much fucking time.
Sure. And I feel like there's times where I've spent too much time on YouTube, and all it does is kind of corrode your soul.
It does. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can't really, honestly, just can't really be like yourself. You can't just like put your hair down and just enjoy yourself fully, without having like, I don't know, just be as you're guarded on YouTube, I guess. You have to protect yourself, and you can't just, say and do whatever I mean, some people do, and it puts them in really vulnerable positions.
It does. And I think I'm one of those people because, at the time of this recording, I put out a video and you had watched it, and we were talking about that a little bit before the podcast here. And, and I understand, I mean, I should kind of qualify. I would never hold it against anybody for being defensive and guarded and protective on here. I mean, I have been in the past. So I get it. I mean, the fear of doxing, the fear of swatting, CPS calls,
Sure.
people digging into your life. It's a real thing. It's a real threat. I get it. I've personally, I don't want to talk too much about me, but for me personally, I just made the choice not to be that. I don't want to be that guarded. I just want to be, I'm actually, it's like an exercise. It's like a practice in vulnerability to.
Yeah. And I admire that about you, that you can be that raw on YouTube, because I don't, and I don't feel like I can. And I mean, I guess I can. I just choose to take the more guarded route, I guess. But I mean, I admire that you're able to do that. That takes actually a lot of strength. I think people see that as like a weakness, that, you're showing, like you showed your panic attack. Yeah, not at all. It's like a lot of people have experienced panic attacks. I've experienced panic attacks, and I don't think I would be strong enough to show that to everybody, just show that to the world.
And that's why I wanted to do it. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to do it, because there is a perception. I mean, I do have a very particular perception, image that I project, that I'm this cool guy, and I can be, but I'm also this, I deal with a lot of heavy shit, and I just wanted to, I think especially men, I think there's this perception that it's not okay for men to be vulnerable. It's, men don't have these kinds of problems. Men, they bury their emotions and that kind of stuff. And it's just, that's part of why I want to do that, is to like show people that's not the case.
Maybe I'm a man.
maybe you might be in your masculine more than your feminine. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think?
Definitely on YouTube. I mean, like, the video that you did earlier today, when you were talking about like people conform and it changes you. And I think that when I first started YouTube, I was definitely more open to being, vulnerable on YouTube. But it's like, I've been around for so long now. I just know how people can be, and I know what could potentially happen. And to me, it's not worth it to
I get it.
Put that risk out there. To me, but I mean, ultimately, what's going to happen? What people are going to talk shit. Okay, let's say I have a panic attack tomorrow. Yeah, what's going to happen, really? I mean, I think after a certain point, we become too guarded, because, like, okay, let's say I have a panic attack tonight, and I stream it. What really is going to happen? What happened to you? Nothing happened.
Nothing. I mean,
nothing happened.
Some people may have talked. I have no idea who talked about me.
You got some people sharing it out, which I thought was very distasteful. But
there were a couple people who shared it out that I was.
There were a couple people. I only knew of one.
There were three: Eli, Scotty, who we won't talk about, and somebody by the name of Chromavolt, who I don't know if you know who they are. They come from Chroma,
yeah, that's AJ, I believe. Yeah, is that the same person? Yeah, okay, yeah, I know her.
So anyway,
wow. Okay.
Like I said, once it's out there, it's out there. I can't stop anybody from doing it. It's just when people use it to further their own agendas, that's my problem.
But as long as everyone knows that that's the point, in sharing it out, it isn't helpful to you.
Not at all.
As long as it's known that it is only to further someone else's agenda, and it's not at all to be helpful to you.
No.
As long as that is understood. Yeah, that is their right to do so.
I do think most people get that. Smart people, anyway. And people who have been around, I think most people kind of understand what's going on around here and why people do the things they do.
Yeah. And it seems like people do the same things. There's just a cycle of nothing ever really changes.
No, exactly.
People don't really change. It's just the same things over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's very cyclical and very repetitive that way, and it's that's part of why it's like I can't participate in that kind of stuff. I don't want to be stuck in those kinds of loops.
But we are stuck in that loop. We're both stuck in that loop, even though we both are like, oh, we hate it and we don't want to be part of it, but we are part of that.
Yeah.
That same loop. Even when I'm like, I'm not part of this anymore, somehow it just loops back around. It's like, here we go again.
Yeah. And that's part of what, and I maybe should have been more clear, it's not so much the guardedness and the defensiveness. It's the people who start doxing, people who get doxed, and it's like, abuse. It's almost, people who are abused become abusers.
Sure.
people who are doxxed become doxers and,
Mhm.
swatters and that kind of stuff. And, and that's the thing that I think is really sad, is to watch people become very angry, to become very bitter and jaded, and to
And
start.
they get worse. Yeah, they don't look at it
Yeah.
as like to me, where I'm at now, it's like I know what that feels like. I don't want to do that to anybody else, and I don't want anyone to retaliate on me and do that shit to me and my family. So I'm gonna leave it at, I'm just gonna talk shit about people on the internet and
Right.
leave it at
Right.
that. If it gets too heavy, and I have had someone recently really start to mess with my real life, of course I'm going to protect myself like the way I need to protect. Not that doesn't mean doxing them and doing shit back to them. I mean, just legally, if you have to, that's just what it is. But in terms of like just engaging in this behavior, it's most of the people are like criminals, and like it's like when you look at like drug addicts. No offense to
No, there's a lot of that on here.
yeah, it's like
for sure.
I wouldn't associate with those people in real life. So it's like, okay, you got to take a step back and be like, look at who I'm dealing with here. That kind of thing.
And the legal stuff really seems, I mean, it's always been kind of an issue, I think. There were, when I and my little group back, 5-6 years ago, started crossing paths with the Dramasphere women. And then I started hearing about all the court legal proceedings that were going on.
What do you mean the Dramasphere women? The Dramasphere, maybe. Well, I think you've been around longer than me around this, like that sector of people for sure. So,
well, I think it's become a little bit more, genderless, if you will. There's a lot of men and women involved in it now. But back in the beginning, from what I knew of it, it was predominantly women, and they were all just constantly fighting with each other. And I know, like, more than once somebody has gone and filed, an RO or defamation or something, of those of that kind. And so it seems to be pretty relatively widespread.
That occupies their entire lives, though. That's when it's like, it's like when they're sitting there watching what the other person's doing, and it's like, oh, they did this, now I gotta make sure to add this to my court case. It's like, all right, I'm backing away from all that shit. That is not something, like, I got other shit I want to do. I live up the street from the beach. I like that.
Right.
I love to do that.
Yeah, you're lucky that way. I live in a mountain forest, and so I could just
bring your ass down to California, man.
One of these days, I might actually. Southern California. I've lived in LA. I've talked about it before. It's just I don't know if I could ever live there again.
I couldn't live in LA, but I do live in there.
Wow. It's it's different.
But I mean, I live in the liberal capital of the world.
Yeah,
so,
you do.
I mean, a lot of people say they couldn't live where I live, but
I've been to San Francisco several times, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's actually a wonderful city. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel overwhelmed by people's politics, but I've lived here pretty much my whole life. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm just
I stick with that. Politics. Yeah, it's just,
I don't openly express too many of my political views because I know
that helps. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, but it helps. That might cause me some problems if I did.
You might have another iPad confrontation.
Yes, that's right. That Karen, oh man, she tore my iPad up.
I remember that, man. She fucked it up. Yeah.
She's such a little thing too. She's so small. The other day I was driving by, right, and she's got this big dude. I think her husband, or I don't know if that's her brother or her husband. They look very similar, like it could be a family member. But anyway, the guy is huge. He's like 6'7", maybe 400 pounds, and she's a little fucking thing, maybe 5'2", 120 pounds or something. She's very small, and she's so fucking feisty. She's out there just screaming at this huge guy. I'm like, you got balls, bitch. Wow. And the guy's just sitting there taking it, just listening to her scream at him.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, dear. Right. Yes, dear.
Yeah.
Have you crossed paths with her other than, kind of seeing her?
I just see her. She does well at when she sees me, she turns around and goes the other way. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but like I find that respectful. Let's just avoid each other. And
Yeah, there's no point.
I guess for those who don't know, I had a confrontation with my neighbor. I guess I should say
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, lay it out.
She was upset basically because I walk my dog without a leash. And so she was thinking that my dog was pooping in her area. And she grabbed this like huge, my dog's 7 pounds. And so she grabbed this huge dog shit. It was huge. It looked like 100-pound dog. It was like bear shit. And she said it was my dog. And so she kind of like confronted my child, and it was just this big thing. And then the next time I saw her, there was like a verbal exchange, and she ended up grabbing my iPad and throwing it. And the police came. I kicked her in her pussy. Like, it was just a big thing, right? And so she didn't get arrested. I initially pressed charges, and then I dropped the charges because it was just like, I'm not gonna fucking,
not worth it.
Yeah, I don't want to like fuck with someone's life like that. Like, and I know I know that her job, I think it would affect her job too if she had some kind of charges. I don't know if she has any other charges, but I won't say why. I know what she does for work, but she has like her work kind of plastered on her vehicle. So it has something to do with children. So I just was like, I'll just leave it. As long as she leaves me the fuck alone, that's fine.
Yeah.
And she's been all right. We just,
well, that's good. What, about a year ago? Not quite.
Yeah, it was over the summer, so almost a year.
The summer, yeah.
That's funny. Right. You remember that. You remember things.
I do. I have a very good memory. Yeah.
Yeah, really you do. You remembered. I won't say earlier, but the thing you remembered earlier, I had forgotten about. To be honest, I didn't remember telling you about that. My business venture.
That was a good idea, and it
is a good idea.
Yeah, I just have been curious if you have done it yet, because I think it would be good for you. You could make a lot of money doing something like that.
Yeah, it's good. What is it called? Passive revenue.
Exactly. Yeah, passive income. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
It's good. Always a good thing. Passive.
All of my income now is very active. I get my ass beat for income. Literally. You should see my shins. They're very bruised.
With what you're doing. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
All purple and bruised.
Yeah. I get my ass beat on the regular. So
that's I know a couple people who've done, in that sort of general area. And that seems to be one of the sort of downsides to that kind of work, is that, there are assaults, and assaults seem to happen relatively frequently, which I was kind of surprised to hear about. So I know.
Yeah. I used to work inpatient. That was the hardest job that I've ever done, and the hardest part about that job was having to restrain people and force medication. After a certain point, it actually like started to eat away at my soul. Like, I felt like what I was doing was, it just felt wrong. But I left that job because one of our doctors was actually killed by one of our patients. And that's when my son was really young. And I was just like, I'm not willing to risk my life to just make money. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not worth it. Like, if one of the doctors are more protected than, the mental health workers that were there. So, I went and did more outpatient type services.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate, I suppose, that's sort of the state. Number one, that's the state of our humanity, but also the state of that type of work. I can only imagine how hard it must be for them to fill positions because of those kinds of things.
Right.
Which is unfortunate, because I think it's valuable. I mean, I think it's needed for sure. It's the kind of stuff that is needed, and it's like teaching. It's like all the jobs that are sort of, I don't know. I want to say noble. Noble's maybe a little strong of a word, but at least work that is.
I like being called noble. You can say it again.
Okay, all right, noble it is. Thank you. Like yeah, you're welcome. It's just, our society is very reversed and inverted in that way. It's like the stuff that is so helpful and beneficial and positive and needed. It is, people aren't compensated like they should be. People aren't protected in those
not at all.
Yeah.
No,
and it's really fucked up, man. And then, then you see, investment bankers and athletes and shit just rolling in dough, and what do? I mean, nothing really.
Right. I will say that this job that I have now has I've been at for the last year and a half has probably been the most rewarding job that I've been at in a very long time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't know if I should.
Well, it's up to you how much you want to. Yeah, how much you want to share about it. Yeah.
So okay, so I have a couple jobs, but one of my jobs is that I do social work. Everybody knows that, and I work with people in mental health. But another job that I'm a behaviorist with kids with autism, and I've been doing that for the last year and a half. And I actually love it. But sometimes those kids will whip your ass, and that's just life, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna get my ass beat, I don't mind it being little kids.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how much damage can they really do at the end of the day? Yeah.
Well, I'll show you my shins, and then you tell me.
All right. Yeah. I'll take a look. Yeah.
Right.
Well, if they're wearing steel tip boots or something, they could do some damage for sure.
Right. I mean, that's just
part of the game.
And it's not a huge part of it. It's it's like one of those things you come home and you got your aches and pains and it's just something you complain about. But overall, I'm very happy with.
You're happy.
I feel good doing it. I don't know. There's something about kids that just really. I hadn't worked with kids for a while, and so it's just they kind of they brighten your life to have kids around you. You know what I mean?
They can. They definitely can.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Well, that's positive. I mean, I could only imagine, how, I could see why you would take away a lot from that because you are giving back, and especially kids. I mean, you can have an impact on somebody's life in a way that you may not even be aware of.
Right.
In that moment that, you never know, kind of what's going on in some people's heads. And, so a lot of times it's the person you least expect is takes away, learn something from you and is
sure. And
impressed I think by you.
Kids don't maybe express gratitude the same way adults do, but I feel like they do express gratitude through their happiness and the way they act around you and, certain things like that, or just coming and giving you a hug. Adults don't really express gratitude in that way. And a lot of times when you're working with adults, they aren't so, grateful for anything that you're doing for them. For example, I've worked with chronic homelessness and mental health, and a lot of times they don't want your help. They just want you get them housing, but also you have to come and check on their housing and see that a lot of times hoarding is a huge issue with the homeless. People who face homelessness, and they aren't so grateful when you come in and say you have too much stuff. We have to, figure out what to do with all of this. And I mean, rightfully so. I wouldn't want anyone to come into my home and say you need to get rid of your shit. But it seems simpler with kids, Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. The world hasn't sunk its hooks into kids.
Right. They haven't had their ass beat by the world yet.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is something. The homeless thing is kind of interesting. I have talked to people in the past, and people who've had family members and people that that they worked with who are that way, and in almost every instance there's some kind of mental illness involved with homeless people, and there's this sort of, and I don't even want to call it stubbornness because it's not a stubborn. It's way beyond that, but there's this defiance, that exists in a lot of homeless people where they just refuse to sort of let go of whatever it is that they're holding on to. And they just want to be left. They want to be left alone, but they don't, you know what I mean? It's they want you to help them, but they only want you to help them so far. But inside they're sort of screaming for more help, but there's something, it's hard to explain, but there's something that holds them back from, whatever, from being normal, for lack of a better term, from sort of letting go of that stuff and getting a job and doing whatever, you know what I mean?
And I've worked with a few people where, you get them housing and they will intentionally blow out of housing and get themselves kicked out because they're just so used to living on the streets. And it's sad because it's and I've had one person tell me, I don't want a home. This is my home. The streets is my home. And it's what do you do with that? It's you're not safe outside. People aren't meant to sleep out in the elements. This isn't if that's his choice for himself, what else can you do? It's kind of sad. And then the hoarding thing, I had one person, I remember there was one day I came into his house, and he was like new to my caseload, and I went to visit him, and he had cats everywhere. He was hoarding cats in his place. And so, that's kind of something you got to talk to your higher ups about, like, what are we going to do about this? And ultimately we had to take the cats, and the guy was crying. It was the saddest thing. And I left his house. I was in tears after that, because he was so attached to these cats. And like, I can only imagine, like, I have pets, like I'm attached to my pets, and you just have this person come in and take these. I mean, I cried so much that night after, having to take this person's cats from him. And, it's like, sometimes it's like, yes, it's what's best for people, but it's like, it's heartbreaking to, you don't want to like cause like any kind of emotional harm to anybody like that.
Yeah. Because that is, I mean, they're emotionally, they are dependent on those animals.
Yeah. And that's like his family. He didn't have anybody but those cats. And then I think it was decided, and it wasn't my decision for this. I just kind of have to follow chain of command with stuff like that. But it's like all the cats had to go because he wasn't able to care for the one cat, and he let the cat kind of reproduce. They decided that he's not allowed to have cats, like the powers that be. And it's just like, oh man. Yeah, that was sad.
That is really sad. And it's tough because, it's, the bureaucry, it's doing what it's doing because it's
right.
They think what's best for the person, and, sort of what's best for the situation. But, it has no empathy. I mean, the bureaucracy of the system has no empathy. And so, it operates in a very cold, calculated kind of way. And, and then, the people who are on the ground are the ones left cleaning up the mess, and the ones who have to face the consequences of all those decisions.
And I mean, I was that upset about the cats, and I've seen so many people like lose their children. It's a lot of times it'd be the young infants that are taken, just because, that's, I mean, even more sad. It's like those kind of things, when those things happen, they really like kind of eat away at your soul when, you have to be there, and you're that support person for that person. Cause I've never worked with CPS. I've worked, CPS is kind of like a sister agency that we work with, but I've never worked for them. But, but it's like, ultimately, they do take what you say into consideration. And sometimes you see things that, you do have to, consider what's going to happen to this child. And sometimes you have to report things that aren't going to make people happy. And it's just like, but it's what's best for that child. And it's really sad when you are the one kind of that middle person kind of. You
have some kind of influence on the final decision.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about happier things.
All right. Well, I was gonna before we do. I am kind of curious though. Sure. Yeah, is you've had some interaction with CPS. Have you had any other kind of involvement with the foster care system or any experiences with that? Because I know I talked a little bit about this before, and it's infamous for being just horrible and shitty.
Right. It is infamous for being shitty, but that isn't necessarily. There are like horror stories, but that isn't the norm. And CPS, this is just my opinion. I know other people have had different experience. CPS isn't, their goal and their aim isn't just to come steal people's children from them. They make mistakes, things, and that's horrible that happens. And but like, I used to, when I was in college, I worked at it was a residential facility for kids with at-risk kids who were basically foster care. It's like a modern day orphanage, basically. And so it's sad to see kids grow up there. I mean, it was really sad, but to see kids, but those kids used to whip our ass pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But you become like a mentor to them, or, you can't be a parent to them, but you can become something, really important in their lives. Like, there's this one boy who I worked with, at this facility in San Francisco, and I actually see him downtown sometimes. He does breakdancing downtown, and it's really nice to actually see him. It's like, okay, maybe he's not like a lawyer or a doctor, like, but like he's just living his life, and he likes, he's got some mental health stuff going on for him, but he's living his life, and he's, doing what he wants to do, and it's really nice to be able to like run into people that I knew when they were like kids, and seeing them how they are as adults, and kind of, living some kind of quality of life. We're not all going to be like, even me, I'm not, I don't think I wanted to be a ballerina. Okay. We're not all going to be what we wanted to be when we were kids.
Yeah. Our childhood. Dreams.
Yeah. They don't come true. Right.
Yeah.
But, you want to see those kids having some kind of quality of life. And if you run into them, if there's something you could do to help them with that quality of life, then, do what you can. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're quite the, I'll use it again. It's very noble. It is. It's very noble. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, there's things I do that aren't noble. I fuck around on YouTube, so I got to do like a yin and yang type deal. And,
there you go. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. You just got to come on YouTube and slum it a little bit.
Yeah. Talk shit.
Get some of that rage out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, a little bit.
Well, Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, let's kind of switch gears back to YouTube then.
Let's do that.
Yeah, so you're. Mm-hmm. I consider you a troll. I think you have referred to yourself as a troll in the past.
No, I'm a content creator.
Okay, all right. Well, we can. All right,
I am whatever you say I am. I don't mind being called a troll. I think
I've done some trolling. I mean, you trolled me. I've trolled you. I trolled you in a cartoon. So
yeah.
You made a commercial about me.
You made me darker. You gave me pimples, and I was very fat.
Shoes.
No shoes.
That's my favorite part of it. I don't know why. It makes me laugh that you're not wearing shoes.
I actually was not offended by that. That made me laugh. And I was just like, I know exactly why that bump on my face is there. I had a pimple, and I did a video, and it's like, you saw my fucking pimple that time.
Yeah, but I was like, boom, I'm putting that right there. Yeah.
But it looks like a mole, as if this is
looks like a permanent
part of my face. I was just like, it's not a mole. That was a pimple I had a long time ago.
I'm sorry.
That's sorry. All right. But I mean, that cartoon was epic, actually. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. It was
the stupidest argument, and I think it's good to make fun of like the dumb things that in the moment you think are so serious, and you're just like arguing with people on YouTube about like things that you're just like, no, and then I don't know, then MJ makes a cartoon about it and just totally makes fun of how stupid that was. It's like, yeah, that was stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta laugh at yourself sometimes. And
you do. You really do. And if you can't laugh at yourself, then, I think that's why I think what we see on YouTube a lot is people who can't laugh at themselves, and they take everything super serial. Everything is just a crisis, and everything is a big deal. And it's like, nah, not really. Not really.
None of it's a big deal.
Yeah. Except, I mean, when people cross that line into real life, with the doxing and the swatting and all that kind of shit,
Right.
Now we've got a problem. But prior to that, it's just a bunch of fucking assholes talking shit on the internet. I mean, okay. And I don't shy away from the shit talk. I mean, if you're going to talk shit, I'll give it right back to you. No problem. I have no problem with that. No, you've always been one of my one of my favorite moments is I think you were on American Dreams. I can't forget, but it's I'm sorry. You're just screaming at Lauren. How much do you weigh, Lauren? How much do you weigh?
Well, she kept calling me a fat ass. And I was just like, this is how much I weigh and this is how tall I am. How much do you weigh?
It was just so funny.
But
you wouldn't let it go.
No. But in the moment, it's like super important, right? And then you look at it, and it's just like, that's super fun. Like, you've made fun of me for that before. We've talked before, and you're just like, at it, how much do you weigh, Lauren? That's great. What are you gonna do? But I mean,
what are you gonna do, man? It's
yeah. I did see you had to give a little disclaimer today that you were going to do an interview with me, and that it doesn't mean anything. And don't worry, guys, it'll be all right.
Relax. It's just because a couple people kind of chimed in, and nobody that you would think of.
That's all right. I don't need to know.
Not Jamie. Yeah.
I think it goes without saying. And did they think I was going to crush your soul?
I'm not sure. I think it was more along the lines of, big deal.
Like,
GLM. Oh, everybody hates GLM. It's like, well,
I'm
no,
a
not everybody
sweetheart.
hates
Why does
GLM. So
everyone hate me?
yeah,
No.
well, we were gonna get into that a little bit. I mean, you do kind of have a reputation. A lot of people are
Yeah.
scared of you. I mean, are legitimately scared of you. Why
Why?
do you think that is?
I don't know. Why
Yeah.
do you think that is? That's a great question.
You are a bit intimidating. I mean, I will be honest. I was a bit like, especially when it's like, oh, great, GLM's trolling me with a fucking video, and then I saw it and I kind of laughed, because
You actually, that moment is what made me like you. When
yeah, that's what you
your
told me.
reaction
Yeah.
to that video, you laughed. I was just like, all right, cool. He can laugh at himself, because before I just saw you as this person who was just so serious and just kind of bent out of shape about any little thing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to poke you. I'm going to poke you because you're giving me a reaction. And yeah, I had a little accomplice. We won't say his name.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he would poke you too, and we kind of would be like, haha, we poked him. And then, but it would just be little pokes, and they'd be things that were nothing like personal, and then nothing too personal. And then when I did that video, I remember someone saying, who does a video for MJ? Who like trolls MJ? And it was a great video.
It was funny. Yeah, I laughed at it. My buddy.
Yeah.
My
buddy and me.
My buddy and me. Yeah, and I was just like, all right, fine, whatever. I mean, hey, it was, I suppose, a long time coming, after the cartoons and stuff. So I had it coming.
I feel like my trolling efforts are really just nothing, to be honest. That's how I feel about it. It's just like, okay, I made I put a commercial and I said that you were Jamie's little buddy or something.
Yeah,
it's like,
something like that.
To me, it feels like that's just kind of poking. But people and the fact that you laughed at that, I don't know, it just made me respect you.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah, because it's like you can laugh at yourself, because I can laugh at myself. Maybe not always. Oh my gosh, this dog.
Yeah, that's all right.
The marijuana man's making noise downstairs.
Oh, is he smoking?
I don't know. We should go find out.
You should.
Want to come say hi? No.
Yeah, I can come.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's some of the. I mean, you've had some moments. I mean, we've all had some moments on panels where we've gotten a bit, excited.
Sure.
Triggered. There you go.
Triggered. Passionate.
Yeah, I forgot. Yes, not triggered. Passionate. Yes.
Passionate.
And I think you've had those moments, and
sure, yeah.
I think that's a lot of what people are afraid of, is because you
me yelling at them.
Yeah, you yelling because you can cut deep. Yeah, and
that honestly is one of my greatest weaknesses, is that I can't control. Like, I can control it though, but for whatever reason on YouTube, I don't make any effort to control it. And
that's just
the truth.
Yeah.
Like in my real life, like, you just can't go around yelling at people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone pisses you off, or even if someone yells at me in real life, I can't just like, where would I be in life if that was how I reacted to everyone? But I don't know. It's like, I kind of like how you were saying in your video earlier today, is like YouTube kind of transforms you into a different person. But I do agree with that. But to me, I feel like it transformed me into a different person solely on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's made me definitely much more guarded, much more protective of myself. And yeah, I don't tolerate a whole bunch of bullshit in real life, but I also am more, if someone were to say something to me that I particularly didn't like, I think away from YouTube, I'm more open to trying to understand why they're saying that. And on YouTube, I do see, I just assume the worst in people, because a lot of times people, show their worst. They don't have very great intentions, and that's been my experience. So I'll assume their intentions are negative, so I'll react towards their negative intentions instead of being like, hey, what's up with that? Or, you know what I mean? Or at least trying to have a conversation about it. Like, I don't know. Like, for example, you've made videos and I've taken it the wrong way, and I contacted you and was like, why did you say this? You hurt my
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, if we weren't friends, I wouldn't be like, you hurt my feelings. I'd be like, you know what,
Right.
MJ, your hair's stupid, and you haven't owned a pair of Jordans in your life, or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, I don't know. It's YouTube just kind of brings that, you know, and that's unfortunate. I think that is something I should try work on YouTube. I don't know. My empathy has worn dry, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the case with a lot of, I think that's a pretty common thing. But do you also think it is, because you were kind of talking about, you are very different in, you know, quote unquote real life. Do you think this is just an outlet for you to vent and to sort of get a lot of that shit out that builds up from work and your daily life and that kind of shit?
There have been days where I'm like, I have said, I am in the worst mood. Let's go live and yell at people.
Yeah. I mean, there was a case, you know, last summer with, you know, somebody that we both used to know, and you know, we both kind of were involved in trolling that person as a way to like, fuck this. Let's just put it all out there and let's just make fun of this person.
Talking about? Should I know this?
You should.
Okay, but just continue. Maybe it'll come to me.
Let's see. How do I refer to this? Gently. There was some fast food involved.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you were, well, anyway, it was, I laughed my ass off at that shit, but
I do have a hard time when people, and maybe I should have more empathy. I should have more empathy towards them. But when people are just complete train wrecks and then they're like pointing at other people saying you're a train wreck, I have a really hard time with that. And they're like mocking people for things that their circumstances are much worse. It's like, are you serious? Yeah. Are you being serious?
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that. And so it makes me just kind of take off on those people. It's hard.
I get. I mean, I really do, because it's blatant hypocrisy, and you know. Yeah,
I have a hard time with that. I have. But if I was walking down the street and this, like, I don't know, drug addict was yelling like the horrible things at people, saying that, you know, you're a, you know, whatever, X, Y, and Z, I would just cross the street and keep walking and not really care what that person's saying. So I'm not sure why it matters if people say it on YouTube, because it's basically the same premise, you know? Like, why don't I just cross the street and keep on walking away from that crazy person, you know, shouting hypocrisy? I don't know why.
That is one of the interesting things. It's easy. I mean, that's kind of the way I chalk it up. It's just, it's because, you know, you've got the shield of the screen, and, you know, usually several states in between two people. I think it's just, you know, it's people let their guard down on the end. It's at least that's sort of like the conventional wisdom with all this kind of stuff. And I've seen it over and over again since I've been on the internet. I mean,
I think also another reason, to me, at least the way I rationalize it, is that when you go on a live stream or when you're on YouTube, everybody is equal out here. You know what I mean? You don't just see somebody as like, oh, that's some fucking crazy, you know, you got to be really out of your mind for everyone to just discount what you're saying. And so even the most craziest lunatics on YouTube, people potentially will take them seriously for whatever reason. If
it's a bad idea, but yeah.
Hey, you got this lunatic on the street doing this, most people are just like, whatever.
Yeah. There's a filter. There's a weird filter that the internet provides that, I don't get it. But I've seen it. I mean, where there's several people that it's like, why would anybody take that person seriously? And
then sometimes those people are exalted and people are like, yes. Let's take them extra seriously.
Seriously. Yeah. And it's weird, you know, especially when those people don't show any kind of receipts or proof of any, you know, they just come out here and, you know, just talk. And then everybody's like, oh my God, this must all be true. And, you know, the people that they're talking about, let's go over there and let's get them. You know, they're horrible people. And it's like, come on. Yeah. Are you
Also
that stupid?
I think a lot of that comes down to a lot of people. Like I've seen a lot of creators, and I think it's hard to just be like your raw self or as much as you can be, but also like I think it's easy to just fight with people on the internet. I think a lot of people that solely fight with people lack creativity and lack anything like original to say. They don't have anything to talk about. So it's like, okay, let's talk about this person because what else would you talk about? There's nothing else for you to talk about. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's the case. And that's, and I could be such an arrogant prick about that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, why don't you go out and make some real content? Aren't you creative,
but it's true.
It's true. It is true. And that's like, you see that almost across the board with these drama communities. That's because that's what else are they going to do? And I used to talk, I would get on my high horse and like, well, maybe you shouldn't be making any content at all if you can't,
Well, maybe that's true until they can think of something a little less like harmful.
Yeah, well,
a little less toxic.
It would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice, but I just don't. I mean, how do you regulate? This is for the most part. I mean, yes, in terms of service and blah blah blah, but especially in the bottom, down here, it's pretty unregulated, and so how would you enforce unless it's like some kind of a social thing where you apply enough pressure from enough people. I think that's the only way you can really force that kind of change onto people is to shame them into it, basically.
And that won't happen because there's so many people who just love that kind of toxicity. Yeah. I mean, us included, we've watched drama streams like, oh, look at this. And I've obviously partaken in it, but it's like, I mean, how much of that do you want to partake in? Like, you have to have your limit, what your limit is. And at least for me, that's like, I just won't, it's not a limitless thing. You have to have boundaries with people on the internet, and you have to, there's people who like I trust, and those are my friends, and it's taken me a long time to trust people because of I've trusted the wrong people.
Sure, same here.
And and it's just gotten me nothing but problems. So it takes me time to trust people, and sometimes it might take forever, but it's not like that in, I guess, real life. No, I'm just, real life. Like, it's easier to open up to people because it's like, okay, if that person decides that they don't like you, they're not going to go run around and tell everybody all this shit about you, like, oh, look at these messages. It's just like, okay, you're just not my kind of person. Yeah. Most people are decent human beings. They don't do that kind of shit. And it doesn't cross their fucking mind to do that kind of shit. And, I don't know. It's YouTube's kind of, it can be very toxic and kind of
it brings out the worst in people for whatever reason.
It does. It doesn't have to, but I guess I think it's at times it's brought out the worst in me.
Me too, for sure. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to, and I think you have to make a conscious decision not to let it bring the worst out in you. And a lot of times I feel like I'm doing something that's righteous, and it's it gets interpreted as, this bitch is being a cunt. But, I have my reasons for a lot of things that I do, and people don't understand it. And to me, it doesn't matter if you understand why. Like my unconditional loyalty to Eli. Nobody understands that, right?
Yeah, I don't.
But I mean, I have my reasons why I feel like that it's right for me to do that. And it doesn't mean that it's not an unconditional loyalty, but I decided a long time ago that I'm not going to be mean to Eli, and people don't understand that. And even if Eli pisses me off, I might do a stream or something or talk a little shit, but I'll move on. I'm never going to join back. I won't ever go to a restream of Eli and talk shit about Eli at a restream. Like and that's just, to me, that just means I've chose to respect Eli as a person. Because I wouldn't do that to you. Even if we had like a falling out or something, I wouldn't do that to you because I respect you. And so I made the choice to just give him respect.
Yeah, you've been very discreet. And I very much appreciate that. Yeah.
Discreet about
with me, with
I don't
that we've talked about and
but you've also extended that same courtesy to me. And
absolutely.
And That's why I don't know, I have a soft spot for you. I don't try to be all mushy and shit, but like, I mean, there was a time where I called you fucking, you were a good friend to me. You were there for me, and I don't know. I feel like
stuff, and we've talked to each other through some stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and I think that it's rare to find someone on YouTube that you can be vulnerable with and share things with, and they can just hold that and keep it moving. And I greatly respect that. I mean, not to be all, it's there's not very many people on YouTube where I feel like I can just call them and just, be like, dump a whole bunch of my life on them and not worry later that other people will know.
Yeah, I'm going to do a live stream about it. And
or like, as soon as you get mad at me or something, like, and I respect that I've never, thought that you would do anything like that to me, and you never have done anything like that to me. And your friends, or I don't know, best friends, close friends, with someone who absolutely hates me, and you still, have maintained difficult. My privacy. Yeah.
So and with both of you, and it's been difficult. I mean, it's, to manage that, because, and there have been some times where it's like, it's really awkward, and it's like, oh boy, what do I do here? And I just, I keep my mouth shut, and I just let things kind of blow over, and then I just, keep moving. And, it's hard, it is hard to sort of be friends with, and I'm not the kind of guy who wants to be friends with everybody. I think Eli said that about me the other day. I think it was yesterday when he was
he said you were. Yeah, I did hear him say actually a couple.
That's not true at all.
Everybody's friends with you, and I was like,
I do not. Yeah, I do not try to be friends with everybody, and there are certainly people out here who hate me, and I am friends with the people that I like. I mean, it's just that simple for me. Right. It's like, but unfortunately, I have friends on, different sides of the fence, and it's tricky. It's just really tricky to sort of navigate that sometimes.
To me, though, I don't see it as like, I know everyone's like, Eli say, this is my side, and that's this person's side, and that's GLM's side. I don't feel like I'm on any side. It's just friends with who I'm friends with, and my friends or whoever they're friends with whoever they're friends with. I'm not fighting some YouTube war. I've got other shit going on in my life. I'll come out here, I might rip somebody a new asshole, but like, ultimately, I'm not interested in like YouTube wars. I mean, I'm a shit talker. Same. That's pretty much it. I just talk shit. And I don't know why my shit talk is so bothersome to some people.
It's, again, good question. I mean, I'm not exactly sure either. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're a woman. I mean, maybe there is a sexist thing involved in some of this, I don't know.
Okay.
I honestly, I'm just kind of throwing that out there. I don't know.
I will say this, like when the first person who like really came at me on YouTube, I wasn't prepared for it. And I had someone, and I probably would have just left YouTube, to be honest, because I was just like, what is this bullshit? Or is this for real? Like, and I had somebody who was just like, you're not leaving YouTube. And he just kind of like, this is Trim Hits, I owe a great deal to. I have nothing but respect for Trim Hits. And he really just kind of picked me up off of, YouTube sidelines, was like, no, come on. We're going to rip this motherfucker a new asshole. Come on, let's do this. And it's just like, he kind of reinforced something that was already with me. And, the way that manifested might not be the way he would want it to manifest, but it's just like, don't let people abuse you. You know what I mean? Defend yourself. Don't let people hurt you like that. And, I appreciate that in him. And, it's something I already knew, but it was, sometimes you need someone to basically tell you, you're better than that. You don't deserve what's happening to you, and defend yourself.
Especially in an environment like this, it is rough and tumble.
And so I kind of, carry that, like, don't let people abuse me. And maybe I take it too far sometimes if somebody just says something in passing, and then I'm like, you know what, motherfucker, that's probably taking it a little too far. But ultimately it's really about like, I deserve respect, and if you're not going to give me respect, I'm going to demand respect. And if I'm going to be disrespected, so are you. Threefold, tenfold.
Turnabout's fair play kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Yeah.
But
A little
ultimately,
Old
I'm not.
Testament.
Yeah, but ultimately, I'm not sure what like. I would be more afraid of somebody who's out like dumping screenshots and doxing people and
Oh,
shit.
fuck
And
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Swatting
that would
people
I
and
would yeah I would be more afraid of those people. But they're afraid
yeah.
of little me. I don't
You've
know.
been accused of doxing and some of these things.
I have doxed before. I can't say
Yeah.
I haven't. I have
Yeah.
many years ago. But I doxed a person who doxed me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
severely doxed me. But the majority of people who have doxed me, I've done nothing to. At
Okay.
the person I doxed, it was probably about 4 years ago, and it's just like I didn't like how it felt. Even though that person doxed me, I just felt like I don't know. It just felt dirty. And even though
Mm.
it was like you get what you get, still it was like I don't want to be like them. You know what I mean? I can talk shit to them and make them feel bad about themselves without engaging in what they engage in.
Sure.
And
Sure.
so, I'm not perfect, but I don't and the whole fucking like screenshot shit, it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it
It's so
is.
dumb.
It's lame. It's yeah,
It's
it
like
really is.
yeah, it's like, okay, we have a difference of opinion and you say you didn't say something, I say you said something. It's just like, all right, well, fuck off. Whatever. Like, okay. Although the time I have saved screenshots. I've saved everything from basically that whole blow up in the drama sphere with me. I just have
Mm.
always saved that all of that from
Mm-hmm.
everybody basically. Just there's a whole lot of bullshit from that time. And
Oh yeah, it
I
was
just feel
a
like
lot of
I should
fuckery going on
save
back
a
then.
lot of
Yeah.
that. With the exception of 3 people, I did not save anything on 3 people because I'll never need it. And if I do need it, oh, the fuck, well, I don't have it. But I mean, I just don't want to. And honestly, it's stressful to like worry about like, oh, is this private stuff going to be put out? And what should I put out on you? And I'm going to do this back to you. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just make fun of your teeth or something. That's kind of more
Right,
my
exactly.
style. Yeah, I just don't want to, you work at Burger King. Okay, that's great. Let's make fun of that. Like you can make fun of my hair or my big ass forehead or something. Like that's
Sure.
fair. Like that's I think that's a better way to deal with YouTube if you're going to be fighting with people.
Yeah, I used to treat it a lot more I don't know, sarcastically, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just with like with the cartoons. I mean, it was like
Mm-hmm.
that was like my outlet. It's like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna make fun of like I made Riley Jones like 5'1" and it's, just stupid shit like that. So.
That's not far from reality. So
it's what I've heard. I have no idea, but that's what I've heard.
These little guys. The little guys are feisty ones.
They are feisty. Yeah, they
Little
got
ankle
chip on their
biters.
shoulders. Yeah.
You're a giant guy.
I'm 6'2". I'm not 6'3". I'm 6'2". Yeah, and I'm big. I'm like built like a linebacker. Yeah,
Nice.
I used to work out a lot when I was younger, and so I'm like I've got that physique. Now it's just sort of soft. But I've been working out a lot more since I moved. So yeah.
My arms are like more buff than they've ever been in my life. Like I have hard muscle.
Nice. Yeah. Just from work or from working out?
Just from work. Just from
work. Nice.
Yeah. I'm not 6'2", but I'm taller than Riley Jones, I'm pretty sure.
I think everybody is, but anyway, yeah. Now he's going to come at me.
Oh, he'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember that time that I inadvertently doxed you in Jamie's chat about 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny.
I actually don't remember it, but and you were like, you had said a while ago like that I was accusing you of doxing, and I was like, what the fuck are you even talking about? I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. I remember that. This was back before we were new to each other. Yeah.
I did not remember you like saying that you doxed me or anything like that, but you know what? I for whatever reason I went back and was looking at some screenshots from chats from way back when, and I actually found a screenshot. I think did I send it to you?
I don't know if I did. You might have.
But I saw it, and it I was like, oh, this is what he was talking about.
Yeah.
That actually happened. Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
Somebody had said my full name in a chat, and you kept putting in the chat, we'll just say Gabriella.
Yeah.
And you were like, who is Gabriella Louise Martinez? And then you just kept saying, who is Gabriella Louise Martinez?
I did, because I'd come in late, and I don't know, I was in like in a weird mood. And so I was like, I just was like, somebody tell me who, Yeah. Because I was like, yeah, I must know. And then you were like, hey, stop doxing me. I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I had a screenshot of me saying, like, what's your fucking problem? Stop.
Yeah.
Stop this shit.
And then I was like, well, what's your fucking problem?
Yeah. And I'm Gabriela Louise Martinez, asshole.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually don't remember that happening. I just saw the screenshot.
Yeah. Well, it was in the middle of a pretty volatile live stream when it was going down.
Right.
So.
Right.
I mean, that was like the last thing on your mind at the time.
Sure. And you have a great memory. I actually don't have it.
I do.
I don't have that great of a memory. And I think that's not beneficial for YouTube because I feel like people remember every little thing and it's just like, oh, yeah, I don't remember that chat from 3 years ago. I'm so sorry.
I remember shit that happened, 5-6 years ago on
that's
YouTube.
Pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I remember some things, but like, I smoke a lot of weed.
I think that might be a factor for you. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a great way to deal with life, to be honest.
That's the trade-off,
I don't honestly worry too much about too many things.
See, I have such bad anxiety that I have panic attacks. So, there you go.
Right. Well, I was telling you before that I've had panic attacks before. I actually have a diagnosis of agoraphobia.
Oh, you do?
I have panic disorder. I haven't had a panic attack in, I don't know. I can't remember last time I had a panic attack. Probably in the last 15 years, I've probably maybe had 2. Yeah. It's That's really nice. Just about learning coping strategies.
It is
a lot of weed, and not just weed. I mean, I haven't always smoked weed, but it really is about learning coping strategies and stuff.
Yeah.
And knowing what your triggers are.
And knowing what your triggers are, and and knowing when it's coming on, and that's one of the things I've gotten since all this has started happening again. Because I didn't have, I had one last year. It got triggered by just a confluence of events, and I lost my shit.
Right.
But prior to that, it had probably been 30 years since I'd had a panic attack. And then ever since then, I've had, and it's gotten just worse and worse and worse. And so I've started to okay, I got to do something here. And we were talking before we got on here. I mean, I had one that was coming on last night and I could feel it. And I was, for the first time in the last, couple months when this has started, I was able to avoid a panic attack.
That's amazing.
With breathing and meditation and just shutting myself off from everything and just and it was like, okay, good. Thank God I'm not gonna have to go through that again.
Right. Yeah. And it's really about just convincing yourself, because I'll start to feel a panic attack in like the early stages of it, and it's really, and I was telling you this, it's really about just like stopping everything in life and just telling yourself everything is fine, because everything is fine. Ultimately, everything is fine. And like, as long as you're still breathing, you are fine. And you think you're going to die, or you think something terrible is about to happen, and really nothing terrible is about to happen. Even if something stressful is happening, you're fine. And you just have to convince yourself that you're fine. And, cannabis helps sometimes. I mean, cannabis can help.
Gummies, when I was, and I'm not, because like I said, I'm off gummies until after my ayahuasca ceremony. But gummies do help. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think that the worst thing to do is to allow any kind of disorder like that to debilitate your life. Like, to me, even though like when I was younger, I would have panic attacks. I would have panic attacks and I'd have like really bad anxiety in the grocery store. And like being in a huge space, like a stadium where there's lots of people, would freak me out. If I go to Costco, that would freak me out. I would like, it would be horrible. And so I started just going to like smaller grocery stores. I go to like Trader Joe's, and I still go to Trader Joe's. And then when I started like kind of, going back to larger grocery stores, I wouldn't look at people. I would just look directly at where I was going. I would have like my list of exactly what I was going to get. I would get in, get out. Everything would like kind of, there were a lot of different little triggers, like even the lighting in grocery stores, like
the lighting in grocery stores is a trigger for me too. I don't know what it is. Yeah. That's interesting. I get overstimulated. For me, that's a big part of it. Yeah. And and the lights are a big part of it. That overstimulation.
And I have like ADHD, so it's like all these things are happening around me. It was like too much. It's just too much stimulation. But like, I can go wherever now. It doesn't. But I did have to teach myself how to fucking go into grocery stores. took some time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, and sometimes like if I'm tired or something, sometimes it is hard to go in like really crowded spaces, but just like you got to have like coping strategies that work for you, and get yourself in and out. I just hate being around large groups of people in large spaces.
It's hard for me too. Like parties, especially like a big party. I don't know what it is. It's always been since like high school. It's
like a social anxiety.
Kind of, yeah. Like if it's like 15, 20 or more people, I'm like, well, I'm done. I'm completely incapacitated.
Really?
It's horrible.
That's hard. Yeah.
I hate it.
You have to like teach yourself by starting with smaller groups of people and then adding and adding.
Yeah.
I had to be around groups of people for work. So like not huge groups, like a stadium amount, but like we have like get-togethers and stuff. And I don't have like a social anxiety. I've never had like I don't like giving like being on stage and stuff. I don't particularly enjoy that, but yeah.
Yeah, that kind of anything where you're sort of like the focus.
Yes, yes.
That's
hard.
Rough. That is rough. Yeah.
Like doing like a podcast with MJ where it's called Interview with GLM. Like
Interview with GLM. Reflections. Yeah. And I don't, for me, I don't know why this kind of stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I gravitated to the internet, because it removes all of that. And I've always felt like I could just be more myself on the internet, and for whatever, I felt safer. I just always felt, because it's just me sitting in front of my computer, and I'm not in a room with a bunch of people, and that's why I gravitated to it. It's sadly it has become my primary social, especially now that I'm completely isolated out here in this mountain forest. So it's just. And it, at a time when I'm like trying to completely change my life, and I'm trying to like get away from all of this kind of stuff. And so it's like, and that's been part of why I've been struggling with it. Cause like, I know I need to stop doing all this stuff and get away from it, but I can't because it's all I've got and I don't know how to let go of it. So it's rough.
That's interesting though, that you say that this is a place where you can be yourself. You feel like the internet is a place where you can't be yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I feel the exact opposite.
Really?
I feel like the internet is the place that I cannot be myself. At least not like raw, like how you are. Like you're very like, and you've been that way since I've met you.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, like very, very open, very raw. And I mean, I'm pretty open with my irritations and frustrations, but like, it's kind of interesting. There's a clip of me crying and people like pass it around. It's like, look, GLM cries. I'm like, I cried like 2 weeks ago. Why is that so like, I cried.
You're supposed to be ashamed that you cried.
Yeah, it's like, you got me crying like 4 years ago. Look at that. But it's like I think people think that I'm maybe tougher than I actually am, or, like, I don't know. I don't know what they think, to be honest, but maybe
I think that's part of it. Yeah, I think that, at least in the few people that I've talked to, when you have become a topic of conversation, I think that, I think you have. Yeah, you've been a topic of conversation with a couple people.
Only good things, I bet.
I always talk good about you. Yeah.
I know you.
I always do. Yeah. I always defend you.
Thank you.
I think there is that you're aggressive. I think that is sort of the image, from,
that's true.
People just take, those sort of extreme events and then that sort of becomes, your whole personality.
Just who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. And which is unfair, but I do think people remember that. And I think because you can be, you can be very forward and very in your face. And, I'm going to fuck you up and, I'm not afraid of, that kind of shit. And
I'm going to cyber shank you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to cyber shank you. I do think there's a sexist element to this. I really do. I think it's because because you're a woman. I think it intimidates some men. I think some men are intimidated by that. And it's, you could call it I don't know. We'll call it strong woman. I just, it's because there's an expectation of femininity and that's not a feminine, that's a masculine kind of a thing. And so I think
but you think like if I was a man that people would be less
I think they'd be more accepting of it.
Yeah, okay.
I think they would give you more of a pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep being me. That's just I don't know.
You should. Yeah, you should. Yeah.
No, but there's there's things we all need to work on within ourselves. But
no doubt.
But definitely, like I do feel especially from certain groups of people, like I'll get we'll just use Jamie as an example. I get these women who just kind of trickle over and talk shit, and it's just like, who are you and why are you here?
Right.
And I'm very aggressive with them because it's like they just keep kind of over the years they keep kind of coming, and it's just like, move on with your life, women. Like, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very aggressive with them because I want them to stay away from me. And a lot of the Krama women, I don't understand that level of drama. I really have a hard time with those women. There's some exceptions. There's some, and it's just like, why are you spending all of your time with this shit? Is
dumb shit.
Yeah, it's unproductive, and like I will bark them away. A lot of times if I'm very aggressive, it's really my way of saying, stay away, because I don't want anything to do with whatever you're doing. And it works though. It might have people talking shit. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it might have people talking shit about me, which is fine. You can talk shit about me, but it keeps them away from me. And it keeps me like, for the most part, I navigate. I move around YouTube pretty peacefully, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Like I can go where I like to go. And people don't really bother me. And maybe it's because I'm, I bark people away from me. And
you're a pit bull.
Certain people, or maybe like it's just a chihuahua just barking. I'm not gonna bite them. I just bark. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I think that sounds. I get why you do it, and I think that sounds pretty accurate to me. You know, I mean, you got to do it again. Especially unprovoked attacks. I mean, and that's part of I don't get that, and I don't participate in that kind of behavior where it's like, somebody that has a beef with somebody, and then you act on their behalf.
Sure.
Like,
and I get a lot of
that person. Yeah,
I get a lot of that, and I got a lot of people that I don't know who they are, and they just like talking all this shit as if they know me, and that's frustrating for me. And I'll bark at those people too, because it's like, you literally don't know anything about me, and you're just going based on what other people are saying. And not that I want you to know me, but just go about your life. Okay. Maybe I'm all the things you think I am, but just go move on with your life. I'm not asking to know you. I'm not, I'm not asking to befriend you. Like, I don't know. But I think a lot of, especially women on the internet, or maybe just women in general. There's guys who are engaged in this, but it's just very gossipy and like unwilling to see good in people. And so if you're unwilling to see any good in me, then I really don't care to show you any good in me.
Sure. I can understand that. Yeah. There's a lack of willingness to compromise. It is a very zero-sum kind of game out here, where it's like, we win and you're completely wiped off the platform, or you win and we're wiped off the platform. And it's just like,
and ultimately most people don't get wiped off the platform. It's just, just go back and forth. Well, some people do.
I mean, but most people,
but
although he's not, he's back. But anyway,
I mean, like he'll lose that channel again too, probably. I mean, he's got people, maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Oh, I mean, either way, I don't care either way. I'm not rooting for him to lose his channel. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
But I mean, the majority of people don't just get run off the platform. There's a few people that, left willingly because of all the drama, and, maybe someone will lose their channel, and maybe, but ultimately it just comes down to, you're just going to do this back and forth forever. Until one of you shuts the fuck up, and then everyone shuts the fuck up.
But nobody's going to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, nobody's going to shut the fuck up. Yeah.
It's perceived as weakness, or you're the loser. And it's like, they just, it's like, okay. I mean, if you care that much about it, then, go for it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. What am I'm not going to step in. What's the point?
And I'm not being, and I'm guilty of that too. I have trouble shutting the fuck up too, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
I can sometimes I can be like that too. Yeah.
Excuse me, I burped. I don't know if you heard that.
That's all right. No, I didn't actually. I burp all the time on here.
All right,
so yeah,
fair enough. I did a video for Eli, and I burped, and you could totally hear the burp
yeah.
in the video. I don't know if anybody else heard it, but anyway, burps they're healthy.
They are very healthy. Yeah. So back to Eli, just briefly.
Right,
then. So is it So do you think your unconditional love from Eli comes from a place of pity, or is it something else?
Is it out of pity? I would say it is out of compassion.
Compassion. Okay.
Not pity.
Just because
I don't pity Eli.
Because he's gotten so much shit out here. Is that why?
I think Eli's the most bullied person on YouTube that I've come in contact with. And I think
in this area he is. He gets a lot of shit. Yeah.
And I think it's from people who, if that were to happen to them, they would not take it so easily as he does. And so they turn him into this like lol cow. But if you do it to them, these people are so upset, and it's like the hypocrisy in it. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, people tell Eli to kill himself, like jump off a bridge, and like the nonstop like restreaming. Like if I were to pick any of those individual people and start restreaming them, they would have a shit fit, you know. But Eli is supposed to just take it. Another thing is, people say, I've heard a lot recently, like, Eli, if you were to stop blocking people, then they wouldn't restream you. Well,
and I've said that, yeah.
Okay, but you know what? If you're a prick to me, I'm gonna block you from my channel too. Nobody's restreaming me. And if someone's a prick to most people, they block them from the channel, right? So why does Eli have to take these people? Why can't Eli say, you know what? I don't like y'all. I'm gonna come over here. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Just let me be, and I'm gonna be over here. And I've seen Eli up until recently. I don't know what's going on. He's talking a whole lot about Jamie. It's a little disappointing, to be honest. But
I think the interview kind of sparked it back up again.
Well, thanks a lot, MJ.
Yeah, it's my fault. That's my theory.
Was the interview intended to be about? What was the interview intended to be
about?
It
was not. And I know Eli kind of leveled that accusation at me that this was all about trying to start a cycle up again. It was not. I can tell you flat out with 100% honesty, my intent was not to start up any other kind of a cycle. I just thought he would be an interesting person to interview, you know, especially considering the circumstance. I mean, I made Pucky tunes about this guy. I was involved in another cartoon that was based on him, Cuck Ethan. You know, I was involved in the trolling of this guy, and I thought it would be an interesting thing. And I'm glad that he did sit down and do it, you know, we talked for about 2 hours, and I'm glad he did that. But again, I just wanted to see where he was at and kind of find out his perspective on things, you know, to kind of look back at, you know, the last 5 years and get his opinion and his perspective on things. And unfortunately it turned into just him talking mostly about Jamie again. And then from that, I think I kind of like triggered him a little bit, and I kind of triggered the whole community to sort of start this back up again.
Okay. Unbeknownst to you, that was unintentional.
It was not my intent. It was not my intent to start anything up. And then he came at me, and you know, he started using me for example purposes. And I know in Eli's mind, it's innocent to him. It's like not a big deal. You know, and yes, he can have his opinions about everybody, but some of the shit that he said was like, you know, dude, you know, come on, like he, you know, talking about Amber, you know, because I interviewed him when I did because Amber had just lost her channel and just wasn't in the mood to do the interview, and then he just goes and starts berating her for, you know, it's so unprofessional of you to not show up for the interview, and it's just like,
I see. I don't really know her. She's come over. And she's one of the people who's come over and started shit with me, who I don't even know.
She did.
Yeah. Okay. This was a while back, but yeah, it's just like she's one of. That's the only thing I know about her, is that she's just come over and started shit with me. It's just like
okay.
Yeah.
She's cool. But anyway, it's just, and so it was that, and then that quarter. But he doesn't see it that way. Eli doesn't see it that way. He saw me reacting to him, and then, you know, to him it was like, oh, I'm being mean to him. I'm, trolling him. And it's like, no, I'm just reacting, in the same way that you're reacting. And that's just part of what bothers me about Eli. And I don't want to talk too much about Eli, but
Sure.
it's like when he talks about you, it's life coaching and example purposes. But when you talk about him, it's bullying and harassment. And it's just like, no, I'm just having my say. And then he saw me in a chat because I went into a restream, right after the interview, because he was talking about me. And that was, I just didn't want to go in, because this was right after I told him, just take my wrench, dude. I don't want to be there anymore. And so I went into a restream instead of into his stream. And I made a couple of comments and in the restream. And then he got a screenshot of it and he sent it to me, and it's like, and then he left me a voice note, which I still haven't listened to that voice note yet. But and then he blocked me, and then he took my wrench away. And so it's like, okay,
it's like a whole fiasco.
It was like, yeah. And for me, that's it. I mean, that's just like, I'm done. I may talk about him, but I'm not going to go through the Eli cycle.
So again. Here's the thing with Eli that I think that it really doesn't make sense to me about everybody, really.
Yeah.
Eli is Eli. Eli's been more or less the same, at least personality. I feel like he is less aggressive now. He's doing a lot less. Like, he doesn't go real life anymore. I know he has, and he's gone real life on me, and but he doesn't do that shit anymore. And I think when people have done things, that's bad. But if they are trying to do better, I think I don't think YouTube is a place where people ever get credit for doing better. It's always, look, I have a clip of you doing this 5 years ago. You said the N-word here. And it's like, yeah, but that was like 6 years ago. That's nice. Like, but YouTube's a place where it's just so unforgiving of anything that people do. So to me, it's like, I think Eli's doing a lot better for himself. And Eli, he is how he is. And I feel like people's issue with Eli is they want Eli to change, and he's not going to change. I mean, he's likely not going to change. And so,
right. No, he's not. Yeah.
It's the same type of issues. People keep coming back around to him with the same type of issues. And then they get mad at him, and then they go to the restreams, and then, all this shit. And then they join this big mob against him. But it's like, you knew Eli was this way before you came back to his channel.
Yeah.
Or before, it's not anything new, in my opinion. So Eli I think I've been blocked from Eli's channel more than anybody.
I bet you and JT. Yeah.
Okay. But here's one thing about that. I decided a long time ago, once he blocks me, I go to his channel with the assumption that I will one day be blocked. It might be next week. It might be tomorrow. It might, I will be blocked again. And I know that. And I commit to myself that I'm not going to be a butthurt little baby about it. Like, I know that's going to happen for whatever reason. And so in the time that I'm there, I'll be as nice and supportive as I can. I mean, I'm not going to just like, I'm me the way I am, I goof around, I say jokes, and I I'm just how I am, but that's my way of supporting him. And sometimes it irritates him, and then it irritates me. And then it's like, you're blocked, and okay. And I might say something about it on my channel. I might do a video. I might stream about it, but I don't go on this long-term campaign against
hate campaign.
I'm not. I don't ever. I will never do that again. I did that before. Me and Eli, we were at each other's throats at one point. You know what I mean? He went real life on me. I went real life on him. I will say, it's interesting. I did hear recently, this little Eli war with Jamie. He was like, I've never went real life on Eli. And it's just like, I got Eli's address from Jamie when I went to Eli's house. So it's like, it's like, okay, let's just we can take responsibility for the things we've done in the past. Yeah. And I think it's part of this, YouTube's unforgiving. You can't admit that you did something wrong before, because it's, people are going to throw that in your face forever. How many times have I heard GLM went to Eli's park? She's a bad person. Yeah. I've heard that so many times. Okay, I live 30 minutes from Eli. That's not his park. It's in my community.
It's everybody's park. Yeah, it's a public park. Yeah.
He doesn't own that park. That's a park that is 30 minutes from my home.
But you did go there. You did go there with the intent of confronting him, though.
No, I went there in the morning. And if you look at those videos, I went before. No, I went there with not the intention. I went there with the purposes of making videos to kind of fuck with him. on YouTube.
Just to troll him. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and
okay.
so I went there. And if you look at the, I guess like maybe you could look at the sun. It's not up in the sky. It's like it's just like it was morning time. Yeah. And so in Eli, when he went to that park, he'd do his streams around like 1 or something.
Yeah, it's usually in the afternoon.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
And so no, I did not. When I went to his house after he doxed me, I did have the intention to confront him.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And thank you to Jamie for giving me his address. Not thank you, but I mean. That did happen, and that happened.
It was already, but it was already kind of out there though too, wasn't it? It was circulating.
I don't know
at that point.
I mean, I was pretty new to Eli when that happened, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, that was like 2020 or something. I think I forget. Anyway,
yeah, somewhere in there, maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. I don't know. But it's like Eli has irritated me so many times since then. Like I'm not going to like find Eli and like, you know what I mean? It's just like, but I mean, my commitment to Eli is just to try to respect him as a human being. I know a lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And they don't understand why I'm like, you know, and I can express my annoyance about something that Eli does without, you know, oh, now she's on our side. It's like, no, I'll never be on that side. It's like, if Eli says something I don't agree with, I'm going to express it. Maybe I'll get mad about it, but that doesn't mean that I hate Eli. And it doesn't mean I'm going to do anything to try and harm Eli or hurt him in any way. That is not my intention for Eli at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole side thing. Yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm on no side. I'm on my side.
Yeah. I'm on my side. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I think, you know, I'll put this out there and then I'll shut up about Eli. But my biggest problem is he lies, and he's been lying about me lately. And like last night, he lied again. He claimed that somebody from behind the scenes told him, you know, X, Y, and Z. It's like, okay, maybe that's true. Maybe it's not, you know, but at this point I would hope he would have learned his lesson about just taking everything.
I don't know.
Email him at face value. I
don't know what he said.
Yeah. Well, so okay. So he, all right. So it's stupid stuff, really, but it's still a lie, and I don't like it. And he weaves his own narratives for life coaching, for example purposes, and it's just, you know, they're the quote unquote conspiracies, which are blatant lies. I mean, he just makes shit up about people, and so. He claimed that, so I changed my channel name to MJAM, MJAM.
Yeah.
And he said it was Jamie told me to do that, and he made me do that, and it's because
I heard him say that.
Yeah, the JAM stands for Jamie. You know, so it's like, no. And so, and there's and I've said this earlier, there is a record of this, because this happened in Twitch a couple weeks ago. It was Side Eye. I don't know if you know who Side Eye is, and she's mostly a chatter. She is the one who suggested, you know, you should change it to MJAM, which is, you know, MJ Archer Media AM. It's like, oh, that's a good idea. That's why I changed it to MJAM.
Okay.
Jamie didn't make me change it. The jam doesn't stand for Jamie. Okay, so that's just, you know, silly.
I did hear him say that, and when he said that, I thought that he had heard Jamie tell you that on a live stream, because I don't watch Jamie, so I was like, oh, maybe he just heard him say that, but it didn't even come from anything like that.
It was Side Eye in the chat, and everybody was like, oh yeah, good idea. So
yeah, that's a nice. Yeah, that's cool.
I like MJAM. It sounds cool.
It's like JWoww from Jersey Shore. Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, there you go. So it's, you know, again, it's just, you know. He's always doing that. He's always saying that Jamie's making everybody do these things. And it's like, no, Jamie didn't do that.
Okay. But in knowing that, because when people say Eli always does something, we know that he always does certain things, right? I mean, so it's your choice to engage with that. Are you going to be mad at him forever? And just like, I bet you these people,
mad.
No, not you specifically, but like annoyed with him. And it's just like, you know, recently I've been a little frustrated with him, and then I have to kind of, you know, I hope he kind of I just have a hope that he will actually listen to what I'm saying. And maybe it takes him a minute to like, I don't know. I feel like if he just, I don't know, maybe talking to him could help. I don't know if it would or not, but like, I just know that,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, for me at this point, it's just like, you know, I mean, I don't really have any interest in having any kind of reconciliation
Mhm.
with Eli. I mean, I'm 100% neutral towards the guy. I don't really
Yeah.
care when he lies about me. I'm going to correct the record because I don't like being lied about, because I've seen what happens out here. People run with these
Sure.
lies as if it's the truth. And yeah, it's a small thing, granted, but it's a
Mhm.
lie. And then it's just it's just the way he goes about with the life coaching, as if he doesn't understand the situation, because he's never asked me any questions. He's never bothered to
Right.
sit down and find out from me what's going on in my life, where am I coming from,
Yeah.
any of that. The only thing he knows, and he always misinterprets it anyway, is the stuff that I put out publicly. And then he runs with this narrative that I'm this, like I'm this weak, helpless person being abused by Jamie, and I need to get away from the drama once and for all. And, MJ, I'm rooting for you, buddy. And it's like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. And just please, if you're not going to make an effort to find out from me and have a conversation about this, just don't talk about it. Just don't use me for life coaching.
Yeah, that did frustrate me. I don't know if you saw, I did make a video for Eli.
You did. I didn't see the
after
video,
that.
but I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some frustration with that. And I don't think he understood anything that I was trying to communicate to him, but it was basically along the lines of I just felt like he was just, okay, I obviously don't like Jamie either, but like, there's so many other things going on in life other than your friendship with Jamie. So if you're having a hard time, just to jump to the conclusion that Jamie did it is kind of absurd, in my opinion. And
exactly.
Also, you've made videos to Jamie, and you're very upfront, like Jamie this, and like you've never shied away from
not
when
once.
You're mad at Jamie.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you sounded, it really kind of upset me to hear you like that, to be honest. And it was just like, I don't know. I just felt like he was exploiting that situation instead of like,
yeah.
And I told him, if you want to help MJ, why don't you just like actually help him instead of like, oh, I can tell you what your problem is. It's like, why don't you ask him what his problem is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what it all comes down to for me. And he's got this thing with Jamie. And so I'm the victim du jour. So in his mind to do it. And so he just, he's going to use this until he's tired of doing it, I guess.
Right.
And again, I just keep responding to him, but he's not hearing me. And I know he's not hearing me because in his responses, it's just the same old life coaching bullshit from him. And, MJ, I'm praying for you, buddy. And, you're going to, one of these days you'll figure it out. And it's just like, no, dude, So anyway, it's just, for me, it's just, I've dealt with people like that before, and there's nowhere to go. There's just no, other than, if I wanted to be in his chat and just gotta be, supportive, that's one thing. But, beyond that, there's no way to have a relationship with somebody like that, because it's always going to be about him, and it's always going to be about his point of view. And he's always going to be trying to impose that point of view onto me. And it's just like, not interested.
I think that is true, but there are other things about Eli that I do enjoy. Like, have you seen his dance streams? Those are fun.
I remember that a long time ago.
I wish he would do them again. But I find Eli to be funny sometimes. I find he
he's
makes
funny.
me laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm not laughing at him. I do find him to be pretty funny sometimes. And I find the one thing I don't enjoy is his when he gets little blogs and he reads from them. I don't watch. I've never found boring. Those too interesting. But aside from that, I do find Eli to be, even when he's talking about things that I don't agree at all with what he's talking about, I find him to be just like an interesting person, and I find him to be somewhat entertaining at times. And maybe I can't get life coaching from him per se, but that's all right. That doesn't take away from him as a YouTuber, as a person on YouTube. Eli's the only channel I'm a member to.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep that there, but I'm probably taking a little break from Eli right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how long that break will be. Maybe I'll see something and be in his chat tonight. Who knows? But by the time this comes out, I'll have been in Eli's chat 3 or 4 more times.
Okay. All right.
And, well, that's just where I'm at right now, because I just find some of it just to be frustrating right now. And
yeah. Is it mostly the Jamie stuff because he just can't let it go, or what?
I honestly feel it's the MJ stuff. Honestly.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. I don't care. If he's talking about Jamie, I like to, I'll say a few jokes about Jamie, but ultimately I'll just kind of leave that chat at a certain point if the whole stream is about Jamie, because to me Jamie's not that interesting. I don't not to be rude, or yes to be rude. Either way, I don't care if it comes across rude. He's just not that interesting. I can't watch a whole stream about Jamie because and then also Eli's views on Jamie, even though we both dislike him, my views are different than his. I don't agree with what Eli says about Jamie though, some of it. So. And then I'm not going to sit there and argue with him about like my views versus his views. And so, I might step away and let him say what he wants.
And then come back later.
Yeah. And then, just say, oh, you're still talking about Princess J of the gay channel? Okay. That kind of thing.
Do you think there's an obsession there with Jamie?
I think that they both have an obsession with each other.
Okay.
I think that it's unfair for people to say that Eli is obsessed with Jamie, because is Eli restreaming Jamie? Is Eli hyper focused on him in that way?
To be fair, Jamie hasn't been the one restreaming him lately, and the one time that he did it because he sort of felt.
Seen him do it a couple times recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm only aware of one, and he'll
be in the chats, and he is hyper focused on Eli. And then when Eli says anything back, he's obsessed with Jamie. And I do think that Jamie is far more vested in talking about Eli and harming Eli than Eli is in Jamie. I think they're both have an unhealthy fixation on each other, but I think Jamie
it's unhealthy. Yeah,
sure, it's for both of them.
Yeah, for both of them. I think it's the opposite. I think Eli is more fixated on just from what I've seen, in the last 6 months, year or so. It's and again, I'll take some responsibility for kind of sparking this up. If I hadn't done that interview with him, people wouldn't have put Eli back on the radar, most likely, And so.
I do think that Eli has been bullied by Jamie for many years now, and not just Jamie. Jamie gets a group of people after him too.
Yeah, but Eli gave it back. Just so it wasn't just him. I mean, Eli was doxing people and doing recently. All sorts of shit too. I mean, back in 2019, 2020.
Sure. So. But I think it's not fair to poke at someone and poke at them, and then when they start biting back at you, to be like, "Look at them, they're obsessed." That's kind of how I see that.
Yeah, and I think it's more people like Joe and others who are doing more of the poking than Jamie. Personally,
you think so?
I think so.
What is Joe doing?
Well, I mean, Joe is one of those regular people that if there's a restream, Joe's going to be there almost all the time, and he's just it's the same old stuff.
I think Joe has a unhealthy
obsession. I think Joe's more obsessed with Eli than Jamie is.
I think that and I was telling you this before. Actually, I was just telling you this. Like, I felt like me and Joe had a friendship before, but I kind of realized that our friendship was really contingent on just Eli and talking about Eli and thoughts about Eli, and I don't know, it kind of hurts my feelings a little bit, but just got to let that go. I haven't heard from Joe in probably 6 or 7 months, and he recently messaged me about Eli. No hello, no. It's just like, okay,
just right into the drama.
It's just like, oh, Eli this, and I'm just like,
and that's and that's just kind of the way I think a lot of the relationships on YouTube are sort of built on those kinds of things.
Yeah, maybe.
They don't really give a shit about you as a person. It's just it's hate bonding, basically. It's like
yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes you think you have a friendship with people, and then it's like, oh, this was just hate bonding. Okay.
True. Yeah,
and that wasn't actually a friendship.
I made that kind of refer to some of that stuff in that last video that I made today. That. The people that what you thought about that person turned out to not be the case. Like, it's like, and then it's disappointing. It really is.
Honestly, a lot of times that's the case.
It's like, more than not. Yeah.
What you think of someone, whether it's something really positive or really negative, it's somewhere in between those two for everybody.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I mean, I still care about Joe. I mean, that's okay that,
I like Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's funny, but that's unfortunate. But yeah,
Welcome to
that's
YouTube.
yeah. But Joe's actually been a good friend to me in the past, so I did think that we had like a, I don't know, we were
That was
bonding a
more
little
than
bit.
yeah.
I thought, but maybe people just grow apart, and that's all right too.
Yeah, I mean on YouTube, I mean it's just
Yeah.
that's one of the things it's hard to sort of I think really I mean you're probably one of the people that I still have I would call friendship. I mean
Yeah,
I would definitely call it a friendship,
for sure.
and Jamie is probably the only, and other than that I really can't think of anybody
Really?
trying to well no I shouldn't. There's a couple others that but they're not really around. I mean they're lurking. They're not really very visible. There are a couple that I talk to on a pretty frequent basis. But for the most
I'd
part,
say about a handful of people for me, that I would say are my friends. And I think, but I feel like is the healthiest way for me to do it, because when you have too many quote friends, it's like you just put yourself in a position where, they get mad at you and it's like, there comes screenshots and here's her phone number and look what she said on this day. She said the N-word. Yeah, I said N-word all the time. Who cares?
Big deal, yeah.
Right. I don't care what people say the N-word. I know people are. I mean, don't just run up on a black person and call. Right, I mean, there's a context in which you can say the word. All right.
Yeah.
But just in saying the word, like
it's not that big of a deal. I mean,
no, it's not as big of a deal as liberal California wants to make it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, liberal California. My home sweet home. God bless Joe Buddy. I'm just going to say that. He's probably
God bless Joe Buddy. He's a funny guy. He really is a funny guy. So should we kind of maybe deviate a little bit here?
All right, let's do that.
YouTube romances.
Oh, God.
Your thoughts?
All right. So as someone who's been involved in dumb shit on YouTube, I would say it's the dumbest fucking thing you can possibly do. Unless the person lives close to you. Like I met the person I'm with on YouTube, but he it's just, we live very close to each other, and you can have a relationship off of YouTube. And also none of our relationship is on YouTube. Like you don't see any of our shit on YouTube, bad or good. I mean, at most, he'll hop on and play like Jackbox with us on a stream or something.
Okay.
I think it's important to not blend YouTube with your personal life. And so if you meet someone from YouTube, you really shouldn't blend that with
it doesn't work.
It becomes that person becomes your personal life, and it's just better not to blend that person with YouTube, even though you met them on YouTube.
And I've seen a lot of people. This is well, how do I put this? I'm trying to be delicate. For a lot of people, this is like a lot of what this is like their recreation, or this is like a big part of their life, and they spend a lot of time on here. And it's something that I've seen more often than not is that they care more about YouTube and the drama than they do about you. And and like I think we in the case with Joe, I mean that's kind of that's sort of the dynamic there. Is like he's just more interested in what's going on with the YouTube, and he just wants to have somebody to talk about it with, and he does.
And that's his right, it is.
It absolutely is.
That's not saying anything against him, but
no, and I'm not. I just was using. Sorry, Joe, I'm just using you as an example. I still like you. I think you're funny and cool. But I think in some circumstances where there, and perhaps it's a misunderstanding where you assumed or you thought, because of certain things that were going on, that it wasn't the case, and so it can be a little heartbreaking to sort of find out that this
is just really about drama.
It's just about YouTube and drama, and you just wanted somebody to talk to about bullshit. So okay, gotcha.
I think that's how we can be friends, even though kind of on, different areas of YouTube that are feuding. I think our friendship has absolutely nothing to do with YouTube drama. So we could just be friends away from YouTube drama. And when I'm pissed off at your friend, I'm not like, you know what your friend did? You know what I mean? Like our friendship has nothing to do with my frustration with any of your friends.
Yeah. Right.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can be, that's a very stay again, because that's, I have to deal with that sometimes too. It's like, and it's just, I hate having to deal with that kind of stuff because it's
right,
delicate, and it's hard to sort of navigate, through that kind of stuff. So,
right.
Yeah. And I think, and if in some cases where, something like that ends a friendship, that's when you find out too. It's like, oh, wow, I really thought, there was something more here, but you would allow something as trivial as this to ruin our friendship. Well, boy, I was fucking wrong about what this was.
It is hurtful though. It's very hurtful. Yeah. And I think, I think that's like a huge reason why I would say I have like a handful of friends on YouTube, and just a handful of people can actually access me and talk to me off of YouTube, because in real life, you're not just constantly having falling outs with people and friends, betraying you. It's actually like psychologically very like traumatizing.
Yeah,
and I don't think nobody wants to admit that, because that admits some type of vulnerability, but I'm personally not willing to carry on like that and have falling outs and broken relationships and people hurting me on like a regular basis. And so it takes me a long time to kind of become friends with people, but like I feel like those people rarely do, it just doesn't happen to me anymore. Like the last person who like, there was one person I gave my phone number to, but he was in the hospital and he almost died. I was just like, here's my phone number. You can call me, and he doxed me ultimately. And, I didn't.
Oh, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yes. I didn't wait to give my phone number to him, but it was just because like, it was, I just felt for him, and people on YouTube were, saying, I hope you die. And, it was just and it was the same people who suicide troll, Eli was saying, I hope this person dies. And so I was just like, that's bullshit. But like, ultimately, like, I feel like, maybe it's a real closed off way to be, and I maybe miss out on, great people, but I also protect myself from being hurt.
Yeah. You have to. And I, this is kind of interesting. That just reminded me of something. And I know you don't like this kind of stuff because you think it's of the devil, and it might be actually. I'm being serious. It might actually be satanic. So tarot reading.
Yeah, I do.
I kind of, and I've just, tarot is fucking interesting to me because I've had so many experiences with readings. It's like, okay, wow, this is, this can't just be coincidence, and this just isn't them picking up on little cues that you're sending, and then they sort of react to that. I've seen some really fascinating. Anyway, that's not the point. But anyway, I had a tarot reading done last night, and I usually just ask like 99% of the time, I just go in and I say, what does spirit have for me tonight? That kind of stuff. I just, general messages, spirit, AKA Satan, Lucifer. Anyway, the demons. And actually, I am actually
have for me tonight.
Yeah. And I actually am kind of going through a thing right now with all this stuff where I am starting to have some really serious questions about what is this? Who is behind all this? It is. Do they really have my best interest at heart? And I'm starting to have some real serious doubts.
I'll tell you this about tarot cards.
And please.
Fortune readings. This is just because I think it's from Satan doesn't mean that it can't be accurate. So just because you're seeing something that's accurate doesn't mean that there's not evil behind it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, I think people are guided by things where they're like, oh, this is like amazing. It's like a miracle to know this, but it's just because something is miraculous doesn't mean it's of a good spirit. Like all spirits can do miraculous things.
Yeah, that's their job basically. I hear you. So anyway, the point that I'm being tangential again. I'm being a tangerine. Okay,
I heard you say that earlier. It made me laugh.
So she made this comment last night because she, because I'm, as I'm going through this thing, and I'm going through a massive upheaval and change in my life right now. And she said, talking about like meeting new people and like meeting new friends and that kind of stuff. And she said, just because, the last, 50, 100 people that you've met and been friends with have been shitty doesn't mean that the next person you meet is going to be shitty. And so you've always got to keep that door open, that option open, that, this could finally be the person that is good for you, that is going to give you, the kind of relationship, the kind of, mutual give and take relationship that you've been looking for.
Mhm.
And I was like, you're right. And it's because we become jaded and we become cynical.
Sure.
But you can't let that color, what is, to come, just because that has been the case, the majority of the times in the past doesn't mean it's going to be the case going forward. And so, like with YouTube, just finally getting back to the whole point here, it's, I try to maintain that mindset out here that, they're, and I'm still going to be I am very selective with who I let in.
Right. You have to be.
You do. But I'm still going to keep that door open for, there might be that one person that just absolutely comes into my life. And I'm like, holy shit, wow, you're actually a really cool fucking person.
Here's what you do. Leave the door cracked, but with your foot on it, and then slowly just kind of gradually let them in that door.
Just kind of inch by inch.
Yes. Just keep your foot on the door.
Just in case. You're always ready to slam it if you need to.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep. That's a good way to approach it for sure.
Yeah. I definitely, I used to be very like, oh, you want to be friends? Let's be friends. It's like, I am not at all like that on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, me either. Yeah. I used to be I would let pretty much in the beginning, 25 years ago, I would let almost everybody in. Right. And then it was after a while, I was like, wow, okay, I can't do this anymore. Took a couple times getting burned, to finally learn my lesson.
Just because people are nice to you does not mean that they intend good for you.
Exactly.
And you have to be cautious of people, of anybody. And for me, like, I have a lot in my, like, I know a lot of people on YouTube don't really have that much other than YouTube, but I have a lot that, I want to protect and I value. And I think people who don't have certain things in their life are very quick, if they are, have type of ill intention, they're quick to try to take what you have because they don't have that.
That's true. I think that is more, and that was, one of those life lessons that I had to learn the hard way, that, there are a lot of people out there like that, that are just have no problem taking from you something that they want or undermining you in a way so that, you lose that thing that they desire. Yeah. It's common, sadly.
Right. Yeah. And it's like they see that you've done something and the idea that they believe that they have some type of authority to actually take that from you, which is kind of funny. I use the F word. I use the N word. I use all the words. And so I had an individual call my job because I said the F word. And it's just like, and everyone's up in arms about it. But it's like, to imagine the I don't know, audacity or the I don't even know the word. We'll just say audacity to believe that you have the power to take something from someone that they've worked their entire life to have.
Right.
How do you think that a call from you, a stranger on the internet, is going to take away something that someone has earned and rightfully has, and they've worked all of their adult life to have? And so it's almost kind of, when that happened, because I've had people contact my job in the past, it's almost funny to it's just like, and the individual really felt like they had done something. And it's like, well, you're upset that I said the F word, but my job, everybody knows me as bisexual, so they're not too concerned about me using the F word. That's like me using the N word. I am biracial. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's I think I've turned away from girls. I've seen the light.
I remember you kind of briefly talking about that one experience. Yeah. It was
Did I
kind of hot. It's kind of sexy. I'm not going to lie. I get a lot of lesbian porn, or not porn, the kind of softcore porn that pops up on YouTube.
There you go.
I get a lot of that. I don't know why. I do.
I've never gotten lesbian softcore porn.
I clicked on it before, and now I get it all the time. It's hot as fuck. It's hot as fuck, man.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to send me this lesbian. Yeah, all I get is like like Eli restreams in my suggested, and like
no, you need more lesbian softcore.
yeah,
porn.
and I get a lot of like for whatever reason I get trauma women in my
No, I'm
recommended.
sorry.
It's just
I'm
like
sorry.
what the fuck. I express all the time how I want nothing to do with this, and then it's just like it keeps popping up. It's like, hi. Also, Jamie pops up in my recommended a lot. It's like, go away.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. But do you always click on the don't recommend thing?
I don't click on anything. I just keep scrolling. Maybe
okay. Yeah. Always.
I'm too ADHD to like go through the extra steps. I just keep.
Okay. it will after. Sometimes it takes a few times to teach the AI to stop doing that, but it does work. Yeah, they will stop recommending stuff that you don't want.
So you're not saying that you're not hitting do not recommend for the softcore porn though.
No, because I do. I'm just going to be completely honest. I like it. I watch it. Yeah. I prefer of all the kind of porn. And I don't watch porn. I really don't. I do not watch porn. But I do this kind of softcore YouTube lesbian porn. It's so fucking hot. It's so hot. I'm
going to start watching YouTube lesbian softcore porn.
It's just, oh God, there's just, I'm sorry to women because women are they're feminine and they're so sexual and it's just like, God damn. So, okay, I'm sorry.
When two guys are at it, it's like so aggressive and there's nothing like, it's not
sensual
that sexy
about it.
Yeah,
it's sexy.
I can watch two women.
No, two women going at it is like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty hot in person too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I bet.
There's something like very erotic about two women together.
Oh, it's very erotic. Yeah,
exactly.
All day. Thank you. Yeah, just give it to me all day.
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Oh man, talk about tarot cards, and we open up the whole lesbian.
Yeah, now it's lesbian softcore YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I was told that I'm a dude, so I'm like the biggest gay man there is. I could tell.
I guess I'm a lesbian. I guess I'm the biggest lesbian there is. So I'm cool with that.
I like lesbians. Lesbians are cool.
YouTube lesbians are so fucking hot. They're cute because they always find like the cute girls, and then not the butch lesbians.
Yeah, you never see the butch lesbians in
no. It's always a cute, feminine.
Nobody wants to be with a butch lesbian.
Apparently not. At least not on YouTube.
Not for porn though. It's like it's something you just like. It just happens. You don't tell anyone about. And it's like I was with that one. Yeah, that's a thing.
All right. Well, I've gone too far, I think, this time.
So what are your thoughts about YouTube relationships?
Well, now it's I would say take it offline immediately is what I would say. Kind of treat it like, a Tinder or a Match kind of a thing, which by the way, I tried Tinder and Match a while back and wow. Not cool. Yeah. I'm not on Tinder and Match anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that I was getting plenty of matches, and I took it offline with a few women, but it's just the matches on YouTube and Tinder are not quality at all. Just
no. I always thought that if someone is going to profile themselves like that, they're probably not even somebody I want to be with, to be honest.
Yeah, and I've learned that the hard way. Yeah. So anyways, I'm not doing that anymore. But kind of treat it like a dating app in that way. Take it offline immediately. Sure. And I would agree. I mean, don't do the long distance thing. And if you do, it doesn't work. It just doesn't fucking work. And then, if it is, try to figure out a way where, you can sort of, either meet up on a regular basis or, somebody moves, if it gets to that point, somebody make the move, otherwise, it's just, and I'm still, how do I put this? There are a few women that I've met on here, and they're almost all, well, one is only a lurker. They've never been on here at all. But I met them still through YouTube and a couple more. And it's still sort of in the, it might happen kind of stage. It hasn't gotten to that, this is never going to happen stage. In that case, it's I think because they're not on YouTube hardly at all, and when they are, they just pop into the chat for a little bit and then they leave.
Right.
That makes
you can't mesh
a lot
on
easier.
YouTube. I agree. Yeah.
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 Especially if they're like into YouTube, it's probably not going to work out. Yeah, it's probably not going to work out. So anyway,
it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. It just can't work.
No.
And it's like with my situation, he's just not interested in any drama, to be honest. So it's like when I'm like, some of it he finds funny when I'm like making jokes about people, you know, he'll come and laugh about some certain thing. But if it's like, you know, I'm pissed off about something, he's not interested in that shit. He's just like, you know, why don't we do something else?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You don't need to be mad at this shit, or he'll just let me be to be mad or something. Because it's like he's not interested in being part of it. Yeah. He's not interested in any of the drama shit, which is crazy.
Yeah, white chick drama. Yeah.
Yeah, white chick.
Who needs white chick drama in their life, you know? It's like
when you have a multicultural GLM.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Softcore lesbian porn on YouTube.
I'm telling you.
I didn't know this existed.
It is a thing. It is. Yeah, it is. And it's so nice. It's so nice. Yeah. Look into it. I'm telling you. And you out there, I'm telling you, don't judge me before you actually check it out. It's super hot.
I don't judge lesbian porn. I just enjoy.
Okay, good. Yeah, just enjoy it. Yeah, just enjoy the ride. So, yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I like women. Feminine sexuality is it's so hot. It's just
makes you jack off with a bag of Cheetos. Is what you're saying.
God, I love. Not the Cheetos, not the Cheetos. It's just feminine sexuality, and then two feminine sexual. It's just like damn.
Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, it's definitely hot. I'm not gonna argue with that.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. Now you've learned something about me that nobody probably wanted to hear. So
now everybody's gonna know. I just learned a few days before everybody else.
Yeah.
Now, do you think you're gonna get shit for this interview?
I might.
Really?
You know what? I don't think. I honestly, I think it's. I'm hoping. I think it's at a point where everybody is just sort of okay with this. Like, you know, I'm going to interview who I want to interview. You know, I mean, you know, we didn't really. And we kind of talked some shit about Eli, but
I think Eli would probably be the only one who could be mad about this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eli.
Sorry, Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think overall, I think everybody's just kind of, it's like MJ's going to do what MJ's going to do. You know, just let MJ be MJ. You know, hopefully. And the people who do have a problem, you know, I probably don't give a fuck about him anyway. So,
well, I think people should learn to just get spines and just stop. I think so many people just follow a crowd. They like link into a group and they're just like, I'm going to think everything you think.
It's like, more than they realize it's a thing. Yeah.
And I don't do that, even if I'm part of a group. And so then I'm part of a group and then I think something they don't think. It's just like, you're a bad friend. It's like, no, I don't agree with whatever the fuck you're saying. Like, I'm my own person. I don't just going to follow blindly behind some fucking losers on the internet.
Same. Yeah. I've got my own opinions. I can arrive at my own conclusions. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And if that means that I'm not follower material, well then so be it. How do you say it? So be it.
So be it.
Say it. Yeah. So be it.
So be it.
There it is. Then so be it. That's weird that he says it like that every time. I find that entertaining. I like that.
Yeah, is that one of his little catchphrases that you like?
Eli, he goes, he goes, and so be it. But he says it in a way that I can't even.
Can't emulate it.
Yeah, no. I don't have fluctuations. Yeah.
Kind of sounds like Soviet. So be it.
Yeah, Soviet. There you go. There it is. There it is. That's it right there.
Soviet.
It's perfect.
Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
I could be a good
where do we go now?
Sometimes. You want to get some coffee? Oh, we can't. You're on the other side of the country. And Jack probably wouldn't like that too much. So
he doesn't care. He knows we're friends.
Does he? Okay.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because I don't want to be that guy.
No, you're not that guy. And I told him I called you crying a couple times. No, I told him like, yeah, no, he knows.
Okay.
No, he's totally fine. We're not like
Cool.
just let each other live. I think that's helpful for us. It's like,
Good.
just trust, like everything's fine. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I've been that jealous girlfriend before, and like I've dealt with jealous people. It's not good. It's just like,
No, it's not. Yeah. I got
love
jealous
each
last
other,
week.
and
Yeah.
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 You want to go into deep?
Do I want to talk about it? Well, it was part of the puzzle that started me on my last panic attack, or that series of panic attacks I had last week, was some
Oh wow.
jealousy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm jealous. It's like, there's no reason to be jealous, but I was. And
That's
yeah,
a
and then
normal feeling, though.
it's, what's that?
That's normal, though. People feel
It
jealousy. That's
is.
normal.
Yeah.
It's just
It
when you
is.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not the jealous person, it's more like, don't get jealous. It's more like you don't like do something harmful to, you know what I mean, or toxic to express that jealous. Sometimes you feel
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I want attention. Any person, when you're with somebody, sometimes you just want attention. And there's a way to, express that. And, you kind of got to be like a grown up and be like, okay, I'm feeling away right now. How about you spend some time on me for a minute and then you go off and do your thing, or, or whatever, however it needs to be expressed. Sometimes you're jealous of people you're not with or something. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's normal too. It's just, you kind of gotta
Deal with it.
yeah, it's harder that
Yeah.
way. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can't really. I mean, you can tell them, but it kind of depends on the person. And no, you can't. Okay, fair. That's fair. All right. I don't know. But yeah, that sucks though. That does.
Yeah.
Suck. Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is. But yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, but that's a normal feeling. It's you're human. I just.
Yeah. Thank God.
I mean, yeah. I mean, fuck being human. It can be like some of these people. I feel like some people on YouTube don't have souls.
It feels like that sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think they're just so repressed emotionally. It's there, but they just, it's just under a pile of fucking, I don't know, rocks or something.
Jeez. I don't know. I just feel like some people, their lives are, I hate to sound like a life coach, we know, but like some of them really do have really shit lives. Like,
they do. Yeah.
Not trying to say my life is just like peas and carrots and just rainbows and butt fucks, but I don't know. I feel like it's all a lot of people. There's just like acting out because of broken dreams and life failures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a big thing on here. I'll never forget when I first announced that I was going to start working on a film, Screwdriver. The reaction that from people was just like, not one person was happy for me. Not one. And they all shit on it. And I was just like, wow. Okay.
Why?
I guess they just didn't want me to go after my dreams. I guess. I don't know. Honestly. And then it never since then, it's just been, it's like, I don't even know why I bother to even talk about this stuff on here or even, bring it up. And like that one person, with that screenplay, just, she thinks it's like, like my weakness. And so she keeps picking at it, the screenplay, then with the screenplay. Are you triggered? It's like,
right.
No, I'm not.
And that's another thing. You're friends with that person. It's like, okay, you can't just have like an amicable, like, even if you have an argument at the end of the relationship or something, you can't just go away peacefully and just move on. It has to be like, I have dirt on you and I'm going to do all it's like, that's why it's sad, but it's not worth it a lot of times to be friends with people on YouTube. I mean, some people, there are some people, there's people I've met that I'm friends with, like you, and other people as well. I'm so happy I met them, but it's like, I'm sure I've like shut out a lot of other people in like how guarded I am, but I feel like I have to be that way to protect myself, I
don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
And a lot of the people that I'm friends with, like I've been friends with for a decent amount of time, like it's taken me time to become their friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've known about you since at least 2020, and maybe 2019, and I've been friends with Jamie since, around 2019. So, Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's kind of the same usual suspects that kind
Right.
of come around for the most
Yeah.
part, and some new people, a lot of the people that, Jamie, his new crew, I've gotten to know some of
The
them.
women, the Cromwell women.
And the Cromwell women. Yeah, I've gotten to know Amber, very cool, very, very cool woman. There's several of them I've gotten to know, very, very cool women. So, I know I wouldn't say that like, we're going to, paint each other's nails and, do each other's hair or anything.
I don't know that
But,
woman. Yeah, I don't know that woman specifically, but
no,
like
she's
I
cool.
just
She's really
find,
cool.
yeah. All I know is that she doesn't like me for whatever her reasons are, whatever was told to her, and she's come to my channel. I'm pretty sure I have her blocked at this point.
That's too bad. That's too
but
bad. But
they do. They just kind of trickle over and just kind of in defense of. But nobody ever goes to him in defense of me. You know what I mean? I don't send people to him, and I don't.
Well, you did do a fundraiser, a gay fundraiser, I think.
Oh my goodness! I raised $500 in 12 hours.
No, you actually did. Oh wow!
Yes,
wow.
Yes. Okay. To be fair though, Jack gave me $250.
Okay.
Savannah gave me $100, and
okay.
I don't know if the other people, because I don't want to he'll start talking shit about those people if they want to say that it was them. So it really was only $150 more, which was nothing. But yeah, I was actually amazed by that. I was like, maybe I should be an e-beggar.
There you go. Yeah, start grifting. Yeah, just invent a weekly cause and just raise $500 every week.
Right. But it was funny though, because I just did that as a joke. I honestly didn't think I was gonna raise any money. But yeah, I was just joking. But it triggered some people, and it's like unexpected people. Like Scotty got upset by this. It's like,
wait, really?
Are you upset?
Yeah, why is he upset? Okay.
I think just because it was like, and they got upset prior to anyone giving me any money. I think maybe I got like $30 at first, and they got upset by the $30. But I think in them getting upset, it kind of triggered more people to or prompted more people to give me money, which
just to piss them off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, but $500 was raised for the Jamie is Gay Fund.
Okay. So what are you gonna do with this $500?
I'll just use it for my kid's birthday party.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and I said all the money.
Yeah,
all the money's going to me in my pocket. It's not going to like the LGBTQ community or anything like that. I'm gonna buy I said that. That
is what you said. Okay.
Yeah, I said it'll go to whatever I feel like buying. I think I said I might end up going and buying like a 40-piece nugget and throwing like 25 away because I just got it like that. That kind of thing.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Damn. Yeah. All right. Well, as long as your kid's getting a good clown and
it's gonna be
a pony or something.
And then the rest of it, I don't know. I just
weed,
nuggets
and weed. All right.
That kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, you didn't give any money to the Jamie is Gay Fund. Let's talk about it.
I did not. No, I did not. If it had been something other than the Jamie is Gay Fund, I might have given. Yeah,
that's true. You've been very generous. You're very generous. Like that.
I can be. Yeah, I can be when I want to be. I was last year just because it was the holidays, and so
yeah, that's right. I
spread it around a little bit just to kind of
to everybody. That was good. That was good of you, and I'm sure it pissed some people off.
I think it did. Yeah, I think
it's interesting that when you're nice to people that other people don't like, it makes them upset.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. It's like, who cares? But yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, well.
Fuck them.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be doing it again this holiday season. So I'm going to be a Scrooge about shit going forward.
Can you send me coal?
I can send you whatever you want.
Lesbian porn.
Okay. Perfect. I will send you some lesbian softcore YouTube porn.
Nice. I like that. I didn't know that this existed. I'm fascinated. Alexa's going off.
Uh-oh. Alexa's going off. Stop going off, Alexa. Is she turned on by the lesbian softcore YouTube porn?
That's exactly what's going on here.
I bet.
My Alexa has a man's voice, so I call him Alexa.
Oh, okay.
He responds to Alexa.
Okay.
So if you got a man Alexa, you got to call it Alexa.
All right. Yeah, I did not have any of those. AI kind of helper things.
Jack got me mine.
I'm avoiding
I didn't
them.
have one before, and he bought me 2 laptops too. Not to be all like, oh, I got stuff, but
wow.
I did a video. Well, he actually got my son one, which was really nice because I got one, and then he sent my son one as well, or he gave my son one.
That's nice.
And then I did a video. It was really nice. And I did a video, and I was like, look, Jack gave me 2 laptops. It looks like my laptop had a baby, and this that triggered the shit out of people really badly. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I thought it was a nice little way to say thank you. Mm-hmm. And it really just I don't know. I think if you're receiving anything, it's going to upset people for some reason. I don't understand why, but that seems to be the case. And if you're receiving something from your own friend or your own partner or your own, it doesn't matter who it's from, it upsets people for some reason.
Yeah. Jealousy, I guess. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
I feel okay, if I see someone I don't like getting something from people that are part of their life, their friends or their family, I don't understand why that would make me upset. I've got my own people who do nice things for me, or maybe they don't have people that do nice things.
That might be it. I think that might be it. Is they're not getting anything. They're left out in the cold. Nobody gives a shit about them.
Well,
which
then,
I get.
When people aren't buying me stuff, I can buy myself stuff. I'm not just going to be upset about, oh, nobody did that for me.
Nobody cares.
I mean, I'm sure if I bitch at my friends and family long enough, they'll do those things for me.
They'll relent. Here, shut the fuck up.
Yes. It's oh, I wish I had a new bicycle. I just wish nobody cares.
Nobody loves me.
Yeah. It works. Just kind of... They just change their phone numbers or keep their phones off. Everyone blocks me. I'm tired of this bitch calling and begging for shit. It's funny.
Well, we've been on here for almost 2.5 hours.
All right.
Shall we wrap her up? Anything else you want to kind of let the audience know before we wrap it up?
Yeah, Jesus Christ is Lord.
There you go, people. Jesus Christ is Lord.
That's it.
All right. This was fun. This was
yeah, it was nice. It was great.
Yeah, I'm glad you came on and did this. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. That is it for this episode of Reflections. Donation links are in the description box below, and I will see everybody next time.
Hey, it's the GLM show.